can we just like give a thank you to 2020?
Honestly, I mean, what is one thing that you learned out of it?
Yeah.
The whole year, you gotta have learned something.
Yeah.
Something must have been good.
You know what? Fuck the good. Fuck the good. If there was no good, that's not important. But what you learned.
Yeah, what you learned.
Is that transformed your life. You're on a different frequency. You're a completely new human.
You're in a different reality.
Yeah, you learned something that you didn't know yet.
Mm.
And I just learned so many things. And one of the biggest things that I learned recently, Kyla, is I had no idea how hard it was to be a human in 2020. I had no idea that we are literally set up to fail in this modern day world.
Yeah.
Empowerment is really important because it's recognizing all of that and it's holding space for all of that. It's not easy to be a human. It doesn't mean that we give up. It doesn't mean that it's not worth trying. It means that it's gonna be hard. And we're just gonna put that on the table right away. Yeah. It's gonna be hard. That's there is no moving forward void of struggle.
No. Hello, Meow Meows. Thank you for your time today.
What we plan to focus on within our second series, Ego Death, is diving inward through our own personal transformations.
Speaking about feeling our emotions, expressing them appropriately, and not throwing them under the rug.
Dismantling our egos and inner narratives, recognizing our fear and shame.
Exploring our triggers, what they mean, and choosing the type of emotional energy we want to live with.
Alrighty, Meow Meows, let's dive inward.
Well, Miss Cat.
Hi.
We have officially come to the end of Series 2.
And we've also come to the end of this year. And this
How
year
beautiful.
it's been a lot of things. And I won't put a label on it. You can put whatever label you want to put on 2020.
For many, it was god-awful and it sucked and the worst.
Yeah. And it might have been the worst.
But
I mean, I just want to float out there that maybe it wasn't the worst. Maybe it just revealed some parts of you that weren't free.
Because you had time and all of the time to be at home.
Time, but also, the fear of the unknown. And I think it just exposed a lot of areas that we all really needed to look at. So maybe the year wasn't the worst, but it definitely shed light on the worst parts of all of us.
But that's what's so beautiful.
I think so too. I'm very empowered by that, which is perfect for this episode.
Positivity versus empowerment.
Mm-hmm. I am so happy that we are doing this episode because I've learned so much about myself this year, but the biggest kind of behavioral change that I've made is the difference between positivity versus empowerment.
Please explain.
Yes. And okay, by definition, empowerment is self-determination and positivity is a practice for an optimistic attitude.
Yes.
But
both, that's what it is.
Yeah, it is. It is what it is. But in my experience watching other people, try to embody positivity, especially when, maybe not positive things are going on. Mm-hmm. So maybe the experiences aren't so positive, but you're still trying to adopt a positive mindset. The problem with positivity is that it doesn't allow or hold space for all of the other emotions. Empowerment does. Empowerment will say, yeah, I know this is fucking hard and this fucking sucks right now, but I'm doing it and it's fine.
Yes.
And I mean, maybe it's not fine. Maybe you're crumbling, but I think you can still feel empowered while going through a really difficult situation.
So what would be an example you have had occurred where you were in a very difficult situation?
Let's take COVID, for example.
Yeah,
Let's
literally.
take COVID. Like,
oh, yeah.
yeah.
That's so good.
Well, and so I'll take COVID and I'll take the protests as an example. So COVID hit, and immediately I had already gone into 2020 with this mindset of this year is going to be the best thing that ever happened to me. And I was hard pressed to find anything that was going to come into play that would disrupt that story.
Right.
Because I was adopting the identity of the learner. I'm like, I'm going to learn from this year. So no matter what it hits me with, I'm ready for it.
And this was before COVID hit.
This was before COVID hit. But as soon as COVID did hit and everything got shut down, I was like, oh my goodness, what lessons am I going to learn from this? I love this. I can tell I need this time. I can tell I need this space. I'm here for it. And I fully expected COVID to last until August. I don't know why August popped into my brain. What I didn't expect was things to open up and then shut down and then open up and then shut down. And
it's up and down.
Mm-hmm. And
we're in Iowa, so we didn't actually shut down.
This is true.
All the way.
We did our best. I don't know if I would classify it as doing the best we could, because we did not do the best we could.
No, not
but
at all.
In the limitations of our present awareness, Iowa did not handle it the best.
No.
Yeah.
Maybe there's still time. Question mark.
But all
going,
of that
sorry.
being said, so what I didn't expect, though, was how other people would react to it and how I would react to other people's reactions. Then specifically when George Floyd was murdered and the protest started breaking out, I crumbled. I absolutely crumbled under that, because here I was taking this approach of positivity and optimism and love and peace, and I was like, I don't know how this narrative fits into this right now. And I feel like I have to say something, like this is wrong and this is atrocious. But I was trying to navigate this really difficult, like social unveiling of injustice from a positive, loving, peaceful space. And people didn't want to hear that, and they didn't need to receive it. I just like kind of crumbled under the white privilege of it, really, because I was like, I know this is something I'm still struggling with. I know this is something that I absolutely don't have the answers for. I know this is something that I'm insecure about and I'm ashamed about, and so I'm very quiet, and this isn't like me. And what I didn't realize is that everyone was going through their own stages of grief. And some people were in denial, and some people were in anger, and some people were in bargaining, and then some people were in grief. And, once I understood that, it allowed a lot more space to hold all of those experiences and all of those emotions while validating all of them. The year hit me in the fucking face with so much that I was not prepared for.
But maybe that's why it's so good that we had the opportunity to slow down.
Yeah.
And really just look inward.
Yeah. I mean, I think this year is everything that we needed.
God.
And everything that all of us needed. And if you don't think so, it doesn't matter what you think. Like, Corona doesn't care. The coronavirus has literally no concerns about how you feel about it.
Mm-mm.
It doesn't care. Make the choice of how you want to interpret it. Mm-hmm. And I think empowerment is knowing that you have that decision.
Yeah, it is.
Mm-hmm. And it doesn't, I don't think empowerment is subject to only making the positive decision or the positive interpretation of something. I think empowerment is just the embodiment of knowing that is my choice to make.
So then what about both? What if we end up using both? Because I personally like to, I incorporate both into my life.
Yeah.
So I take my words and I speak it into a positive manner.
Mm-hmm.
And
I know. I see that in you
I
all
know.
the time.
There's always so many different ways of thinking and seeing things, and that's what I bring into perspective of, okay, well, yes, there is that, but then there's this.
Mm-hmm.
And
I mean, of course, that's your choice.
it is my choice. It's not what I'm telling anybody else to do. If they want to, they can.
Right.
If they want. But that's their choice.
Truly. So if empowerment is the knowledge that you have that decision, then maybe positivity is the embodiment of making the decision that you want. That will move you towards the goals that you want to hit, you know?
That makes sense.
And I think it all ties back into ego death.
How?
By the idea that if your ego isn't serving you and you need to adopt a new narrative for yourself, I can be empowered in knowing that I have the choice to choose my own reality while also holding space, going back to feeling it out and releasing it out, while also holding space for how I'm feeling now. And every single one of these episodes from series 2 has built on each other and retreated back to the old ideas. It's just, it all flows.
It does. And it's so interesting. This series has been so interesting.
I don't think there could have been a better series 2.
No.
And a better layout for what we personally needed to work on as we went through each of these episodes.
It's so interesting now that are here at the end of series 2 compared, I mean, from when we very first started with series 1. It literally, as we go through the emotions, when we're finding any extra information or doing our own research and really digging into ourselves to express to everyone, it is so healing for ourselves. We're like, damn, I didn't know that yet.
Yeah, I find myself constantly, as I'm editing the episodes, I've got this voice in my head, which is my voice as I'm speaking to you now.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm saying shit that I'm not living my life by. And then I'm like, God damn it. Like,
I can't say that if I don't embody it.
I can't. It's been like a reminder for me constantly.
It has been very awakening. The information that we have come across and that we have learned about.
And can we just talk about how much we learned in 2020?
Holy shit.
Like I set out to learn everything I could in 2020. And I really approached this year from a physical perspective because I was in so much physical pain. I was always in physical pain. My back hurt terribly. And I was that young 20-year-old or, someone in their 20s who's complaining about back pain already. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I can't live my life like this.
You've got a whole life ahead of you.
Yeah. And so I really approached the positivity versus empowerment of being like, no matter what, it will be better by the end of the year.
Yeah.
And I will be learning every step of the way, but I will learn how to make my body better. And that was one of the few truths that I took with me into 2020.
And how do you feel?
Amazing. It's very interesting. I'm not serving anymore. I used to be a server. And now I'm a full-time photographer. So I traded my lower back and shoulder pain for hip tightness, which is totally fine. I'll take it any day. But I developed a morning routine that I do stick to 5 days out of the week, no matter what. I developed a diet that works better for me, and I'm still learning, but I feel empowered by my learning and my growth and my new habits that I've adopted through that. And I met a new friend.
Hi.
And I started a podcast that helps me work on the skills that I set out to learn for myself. And I mean, like, can we just like give a thank you to 2020?
Honestly, I mean, even if you are one that finds that it was awful and there's one thing right after another, what is one thing that you learned out of it?
Yeah.
The whole year, you gotta have learned something.
Yeah.
Something must have been good. Anything.
And
One
it
thing.
doesn't, you know what? Fuck the good. Fuck the good. If there was no good,
Okay.
that's not important. But what you learned
Yeah, what you learned.
is that transformed your life. You're on a different frequency. You're a completely new human.
You're in a different reality.
Yeah, you learned something that you didn't know yet. And I just learned so many things. And one of the biggest things that I learned recently, Kyla, is I had no idea how hard it was to be a human in 2020. I had no idea that we are literally set up to fail in this modern day world.
Yeah.
And I kind of understood it, you know, the way we speak to each other. I don't think anybody really understands the primitive brain that we are all living with. It's a primitive brain. It's so not equipped to deal with the functions of modern day society. And I knew a lot of us were living in survival, fight or flight. But I didn't know that every single aspect of our daily lives sets us up to fail. Our food is literally making us depressed.
Yeah.
Our sleep is literally making us anxious. And I mean,
it goes on.
It goes on. It goes on. We are consuming food that has no business being in human bodies. We are on social media that was literally designed to be as addictive as possible. Like, I watched The Social Dilemma on Netflix. I had kind of like not resisted it, but I don't even watch TV. So I was like, yeah, I'll watch it when I watch it.
I don't even have a TV.
Yeah. I started it and had me hooked from the beginning to the end, and horrifying how much all of these people, some of the biggest designers of social media, say we had no idea. We had no idea it was going to be this bad. And the more we learned, the more we tried to stop it.
Oh, no.
Oh, it's really bad. And you watch it and you're just like, oh, God. Kyla, the same way that your phone popped up with a notification to say this is how much time you spent on your phone this week, that's just a tactic to get you to open that up to get you on your phone. Things like people tagging you in photos on Facebook.
I don't have any notifications for that reason.
Yeah, it's all tactics to get you to be on that platform for as long as physically possible. But what they've done is that they've force fed us through a feed what they think we want to know. And I remember learning this in college because I was in interactive digital studies. So, you know, we had to learn internet culture, and internet culture is so fascinating. But to be force fed a version of reality and then enraged when someone's version of reality doesn't match up with yours. I mean, it's creating like a world of narcissists that need to control the world around them and inherently are miserable and depressed and anxious and suicidal because of it. And so I'm like, oh, okay. Empowerment is really important because it's recognizing all of that and it's holding space for all of that. It's not easy to be a human, and in fact, it's borderline impossible. It doesn't mean that we give up. It doesn't mean that it's not worth trying. It means that it's gonna be hard. And we're just gonna put that on the table right away. Yeah. It's gonna be hard. That's there is no moving forward void of struggle.
No, definitely not.
And after this year, bitches, please listen. There is no moving forward void of struggle. The struggle is a guarantee.
It's a part of the existence we call life.
And to avoid it is going to leave you feeling absolutely miserable.
Because it's just going to keep piling on. It just happens.
It does. It does just happen. But,
well,
it's okay.
It's okay.
And it's hard to say that it's okay. Because it doesn't belittle the circumstances, and it doesn't belittle that we need change.
No.
It absolutely doesn't. It's okay because it is a part of life.
It definitely is.
All of the struggle, all of the stress.
I do have to ask, think we already know the answer, but can positivity and empowerment both be helpful for your life? or whatever it may be?
I think they both have their place, but I think empowerment is what we should all focus on first. If you want to default to positivity, if you want to have because you mentioned earlier, you said that you always try and incorporate a positive outlook on life, which I think is beautiful. But it is a choice, and it's a choice that you made a long time ago.
Yeah.
I don't even know if you could tell me when you've made that choice.
I really don't know. It's been many years of my life.
And I actively made the conscious choice where I said, no, I'm going to work on this. I'm going to choose positivity when I can.
Yes.
And I mean, it's been an uphill battle. Like it hurts and it sucks and it's hard. It's really hard. And I defaulted to false positivity of ignoring the rest of my emotions.
Yes, there is a fine line that you have to be careful with.
And that's what the empowerment is.
Yes.
So if you approach anything with empowerment first, and like, let's just get this shit on the table right away. Like, this sucks. I fucking hate this.
Yeah.
I don't like this.
So like, what about like to yourself, for example? So like if I don't like that I am on social media all the time. We'll throw that back on the table.
Yeah, sure.
I don't like social media all the time. How can we bring that positivity and empowerment out from that, Kat?
Right. A great question. And I love that we're bringing an example into it. So if we have to start with empowerment, like we'll let positivity be for a second. So throwing it on the table, I don't like this behavior in myself. And I don't like that social media is so addictive that I can't get off of it. And I don't like the beliefs it's giving me about myself and about others. Like all of these things. So we don't like that.
No.
We don't like that. And we know it's going to be hard to stop it.
Or even try.
Yeah. And we know it's going to be hard to cut it down. It's going to be hard not to default back. And it's going to be hard to unlearn this. All of that's on the table. So in the space of empowerment, what other emotions come up? Is there any guilt? Is there any shame? Is there any disappointment in yourself? And let's hold space for the positive emotions too. The optimistic intentions of, can I cut down my social media use? I do really like when I'm connected to friends. I do like this dopamine hit that I get when I'm in a good conversation with someone.
Yes.
And starting to create the knowledge of what works for you and what doesn't work for you. I think that's a huge part of empowerment. And then break it down from there and say, let's make a plan. The positivity can come in later as a new way of thinking, the willingness to allow a new belief, and a new story that we begin to tell ourselves. So I think once you've created the space for all of the emotions to be held and seen, then you can come back in and try and edit, if you will.
Yes.
Edit for a more positive story. So I think they can both be helpful, but I think positivity void of true empowerment, no. It's got no leg to stand on.
No.
It's just lying if it's not real.
Right.
And so I like that.
Me too.
Yeah.
Very good.
I like that I've worked on that this year, and I'm just so grateful for the person I've become this year through this year.
Oh my gosh.
From this year.
I'm so grateful for every opportunity and every experience because I can actually express how I feel when the feelings pop up.
Every circumstance that hit me in the face and had me bawling on the floor, so grateful for it.
Oh, I love how I slowed down. I went from working 2 jobs to not working at all.
Yeah.
It was incredible to actually sit with myself because I have never done that.
And I'm so proud of you too. And I mean, like, dude, kudos to you and kudos to me. I did the exact same thing.
Clap, clap.
And I went from a space of, having my own job and my own money and working so that I could have money to spend money to not having any job and not having any money. And I let the fear be, and then I let the fear go. And then I literally had to learn how to not have an income. I had to learn how to not have an income. And I still don't really technically have an income.
Mm-mm.
I'm honestly just like vibing. I'm just chilling. I have very, very, very little money coming in. And that's a lesson that I desperately needed to learn, that my worth is not tied to my money. And so it doesn't mean that it's still not unpleasant. And it doesn't mean that some days I'm like, no, I'd like to go get some money now. I'd like to go start making some money. I'd like some money to come in. But I have to go with the flow of what I need and what is going to work for me.
Absolutely.
What are you most grateful for this year?
Definitely the ones I expressed with the emotions and the time. Those are huge, but being in a relationship with myself.
Yeah.
How I have I genuinely chose to be in a relationship with myself and marry myself. And I say that when people ask me, are you in a relationship? Yeah, I'm married to myself. They're like, oh, that's it. What? That's interesting. I'm like, it's good.
It's good.
Literally amazing. I've never felt so fulfilled in my life.
You can see it on you.
Genuinely in love with myself. Not saying like I'm better than anybody. I'm not. I don't know shit.
But you're infatuated with you.
I fucking love myself. I chose to marry the person that I would want to marry if it was someone else.
Yeah. And it just happens to be you.
And it happens to be me now, whatever it may be. But that's what I love so much this year, is the opportunity to sit, be with myself, and love myself. I love her.
I know. I love her too.
Thank you.
I love me too.
She's incredible, and I always encourage so many people. I've encouraged you as well. Like, let yourself be the priority in your life.
Yeah.
First and foremost.
Of course.
Now, if you have kids, that's a different story.
A little bit, but I still. I mean, like, and this is coming from a non-parent perspective, so please go ahead and call me out. But I still think you have to come first.
You do.
And I think if you're running on empty.
But they are first. They are. If you have a kid, they are. I mean, a kid doesn't
I think
know
that's probably the
anything.
reason I'm not ready to be a parent, because I'm like,
Ditto.
no, I come first.
Yeah, and I'm like, I don't know if I'll ever
and I
have
suppose,
a cap,
please let me clarify too, not coming from like I want to watch TV, so I'm going to watch TV now, and you just need to do your own thing. No, I'm definitely saying, like, if there's work that needs to be done here, I have to take care of that before I can take care of fixing your problems for you.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, I am not eligible to speak on this subject whatsoever.
Nope. So we'll just keep on going.
We'll just keep on going.
Yes. I'm just grateful for this year. I also came in this year of, I'm going to have change. I'm going to learn, and I'm going to understand and become even more aware of who I am, because I have no idea, and I still don't know.
Yeah, dude.
That's what I love so much. Last year when I said I didn't know myself, I didn't like that.
No.
That sat with me, and I felt just sad.
Wow.
And this year, today, when I say I don't know anything, I don't know who I am, I love it.
That's beautiful, man.
I literally love it. I love not knowing anything. I love not knowing who I am or where I'm going to be, because it just happens.
The identity of the learner.
That's lovely.
Learning all the time. I have to say too, the people I'm most grateful for this year. Of course, people in my life, like you. Yes. I love my family. I love my parents, but I also love the family I've created with my partner, and we have a dog. We got a dog boy. We have 2 cats, and our family grew, and that was just so fulfilling. But the people that brought the biggest impact on my life were all of my mentors from 2020. And I found so many amazing mentors from 2020. None of them who I know in real life. None of them who I know in real life whatsoever. But I just found this channel called Impact Theory on YouTube, and I was like, okay, I dig it. Okay, I dig it. And then I just fell in love with Tom Bilyeu, and he was just like so raw, a little bit manic, a little bit all over the place, but he's just like, if I tell you I'm fucking passionate about this, I'm fucking passionate about this. And I was just like, my brain just started going, oh my God, I have to write that down. And I have notebooks upon notebooks upon notebooks upon notebooks of people I've learned from just from finding this one channel on YouTube. And then I found fucking Marie Forleo, and she was like a hip hop dancer on MTV. And I was like, fuck, I want to be like that. I want to be you. I want to be you. And I found Shetty, and he was a monk. And then he decided to go into social media to teach people what he learned. And I found Peter Crone, and he just like blew my mind in so many different areas. And I found Aubrey Marcus, and then you were like, oh, I listen to Aubrey Marcus. I love Aubrey Marcus. And I'm like, there's so many more. And these people like mean so much to me. I feel like I know them. I've spent hours with them. And they've helped me grow to this person that I am for no other reason than they knew someone like me was going to watch the videos.
Yeah.
And there's hundreds of thousands of people like me watching these videos and learning and growing themselves every day. And that is the best fucking part of 2020 to me, is that in this day and age, we are fucking empowered to become who we want to be. We have the knowledge.
We do.
We absolutely have the knowledge.
But what do we want to do with it?
That is the decision to make for your 2021.
What
do you want to do with it?
What do you want to do with the information?
The sky is literally the limit.
You have any answer at the tip of your fingers, literally. I love when someone asks me a question. I'm like, Google it. Just Google or YouTube it, because you will find an answer.
Yep.
And if you don't find that an answer you like, there's more options.
There is.
Wow, who would have known?
I'm so grateful. So grateful for you, grateful for this podcast, grateful to be learning alongside you always.
Grateful to be alive
Yeah.
and experiencing this moment in this moment with you, per usual.
Have a beautiful 2021.
Yes, and literally Happy New Year, because next year is going to be freaking great.
Next year's going to be freaking great.
It's a new everything.
It's going to be amazing. The struggle's a guarantee.
Absolutely, that's going to happen.
I just have to throw that out there. The struggle is a guarantee.
There will be maybe frustration, sadness, anger.
Get ready to be triggered.
Emotions are going to come up, and it's going to be so damn good.
I can't wait, and we're here to do it with you.
Yeah, we've got our next year planned out, and it's...
We do.
There are some things that we're going into, and it's gonna be great. Yeah.
I might cry on the podcast.
Oh, I'm gonna cry.
I almost started crying, Kyla. I was like, oh, I don't want to go there.
You've already cried on the podcast.
I know. All right.
Okay. Have a lovely rest of your day, meow meows. And a lovely rest of your life.
Lovely rest of the year.
Enjoy this moment, whether it's this physical moment that you're listening, or tomorrow, or in an hour.
Because you're never going to get this time back.
Nope.
You're never going to be in 2020 again.
Nope. You are here in this moment, this very moment right now, so enjoy it while you exist.
Love you, meow meows.
Bye, meow meows. Alrighty, you lovely meows. We love you deeply, and we thank you dearly for joining us in our journey today.
Subscribe to the 6AM Meow Meows to get notifications for future episodes. If you wish for more meows in your life, you can connect with us on Instagram for questions to ask yourself, writing prompts, as well as tips and tricks related to today's episode. And, of course, cats.
If you're more of a visual person, find us on YouTube for the video version of these podcasts. Or you can join the conversation on Facebook. Share what you think, what you learned, or something you would like to add to our discussions.
To get in touch with us, or if you have any questions, email us at the 6AM Meow Meows at gmail.com.
And all of these links will be listed below, so just scroll on down to get connected.
As always, we are learning through this journey, so your comments and perspectives are a fundamental part in helping us gain understanding and shifting our current realities.
Again, thank you for your time, and have a perfect rest of your day. Goodbye, beautiful meow meows.
Goodbye!